Hi, welcome everyone to another episode of Let's Talk Special Economic Zones. I'm your host, Ainsley Brown. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the top 5 ways to make money from special economic zones. And, I debated this title because really these are technically the only ways to make money. They're not just the top 5 ways. And you'll get to understand what I mean in a second. Now, what do we mean by special economic zones? I always do this in every episode. These are designated geographic spaces that a government has said a zone will be located here. Whether they build it or not is a different matter, or they invite private sector to come and build it, or they partner with private sector. It doesn't matter. Different models exist around the world. What matters is the principle that different rules will apply to that specific area. Incentives will be given for the build out and for the operation, or one or the other. It depends on the regime in question. Now, what are these top 5 ways, or as I said, the only way? One, and I should put this caveat in there, some of these are going to overlap and some of them may not exist depending on the regime, or the avenue, I should say, is cut off from you, depending on the regime that you are dealing with. So the first one is to be a landlord, right? Own the land that the zone is going to go on. So you could be leasing the land, or you've sold the land. You're making money from the zone. That avenue may be cut off from you because it may be that the government owns the land, and that's where it's going to be government run, developed, owned, everything, or it could be just owned and then privately run. Different models exist. The next one is to be the developer. Now, depending on the jurisdiction you're in, that term may vary. That term can include literally the person that develops the land, developer. It also can mean somebody that operates the zone. It depends, or both combined, right? Again, depending on the type of regime that you're in, or we're talking about, that avenue may be cut off from you because it may be that all the zones belong to the government. And then you have the next category of folks, which is the occupants, the people that come in and actually operate within the space. Sometimes in some jurisdictions they're called operators or zone users, or just users of the zone, etc. They don't get caught up in so much in nomenclature, but focus on the actual function. So that person, that occupant or tenant, it again depends on the jurisdiction. Different terms are used. Goes in and operates and benefits from those different rules, those streamlined processes that help them facilitate their commercial activity, the special incentives, maybe duty-free off items coming in, corporate income tax reduction. In some areas it's at zero, for example. The next category is a supplier of goods and services. So whether you're supplying to that occupant, you're supplying to the developer, or even supplying to the landlord, because the landlord may need a lawyer, may need a land surveyor, a land valuator. It depends, right? So you're providing goods and services to them. And the final one is, and this one is kind of tricky because I suppose it's more saving money than making money. But I guess, a dollar saves a dollar earned, right? So it is actually using the services of the occupant, particularly, but not exclusively, but particularly the occupant, to improve your services and goods and services. So for example, if you are somebody that exports, you may contact the occupant to assist. Maybe they're a logistics provider, for example, or maybe they're a port, for example. And then being in a zone or part of a zone helps them to be, have higher standards, better performance, which then adds to your bottom line. right? So you use them. You can also use them in some instances, and again, depending on the regime that you're dealing with worldwide, some of these avenues or this particular avenue may or may not be applicable, where you use them for contract manufacturing, for example. So they're offering manufacturing as a service. So they'll manufacture on your behalf, and then or even full blown services in terms of full blown logistics services, which include manufacturing. They'll manufacture, package everything, and get it out, and that's a service that they offer within the zone, from the domestic territory into the zone. There's complications in how that can work, but again, in some jurisdictions that's not allowed, in other jurisdictions it's allowed. So those are the top 5 ways, or as I said, the only ways really that you can make money from a zone. So if you like this episode, please like, share, subscribe. If you want to see me do a particular topic, just leave me a comment down below and I'll get right to you. Bye for now.